So I just wanted to do a little update on the channel, what's been going on, all the cars I've been driving. You'll see some of these things were separate videos, like my friend's new 3-valve Mustang that ended up having a bad engine. He's bought a replacement engine for it, and you'll see updates on this car as well. I did an oil change on the Bullitt, just because it hadn't been done for a little bit. It only had probably 1,000 miles on it. I did do a wheel swap on the silver Mustang GT, but just temporarily. I wanted to go down to the SEMA show in Las Vegas, and I decided to take the silver GT. I had these basically new tires on these Terminator wheels, and I thought I'd swap them on. The GT Bullitt wheels are my favorite on this car, but looking at them, they were starting to wear a little bit on the insides. Nothing crazy, but I just felt like it would be a better setup to have driving a couple hours on the freeway each way with my wife going down to that show. And it was a really nice show. So it was kind of fun to have the GT with the Cobra wheels on it. It kind of looked like a silver Terminator, but I don't really feel like these wheels belong on the car like the Bullitt wheels do, and so it just doesn't look right to me. But they do look good on the car, and I drove the car to work, and I enjoyed having these wheels on here for a little bit, and mostly just to have the peace of mind of driving there and back. And then I drove around a little bit with them like that before I took them off. But I always like how these machine wheels look at night. You can see the shine on them as you walk by, and it brings back a lot of really good memories. And I did have 2 other silver GTs before this one, and one of them I did buy the '01 Cobra wheels for that were the polished ones, and so you can see that little collage I made showed the difference. But nice to see the car in the daylight with the wheels on, and just kind of fun to enjoy the car. It's kind of like a whole different car when the wheels are on it like this. A lot of times people say the wheels make the car, so just tried to enjoy it like that for a little bit, but I wanted to take them off soon. But again, here's another night shot with the wheels like that. So it was a beautiful morning, and I got everything ready for the trip, and my wife and I had a fantastic time going down to the SEMA show. Novside has sent me some LED lights for the car, and they had supplied the tickets for my wife and me, and we stopped by the booth, and they had a little interview with me, and that was really fun. So I just enjoyed driving the GT and going on a road trip with it. If you had seen the series with my zinc yellow GT, this is where I got gas at the gas station on that trip. Kind of a cool thing. And speaking of the zinc yellow GT, I took it around the neighborhood, went to a birthday party, parked it here amongst all these bland cars, and then you see the zinc yellow bright car. Pretty fun to see. I love how bright that color is. And I just had all the GTs lined up in the driveway, so I thought this would be a good time to take a little bit of a video and show the differences. One of the GTs being the Bullitt. It is still a GT, but it's fun to see them all lined up like this. It reminds me of being at the Ford dealership in the early 2000s when I would go walk the lot and see all the different cars and lined up like that. The hood scoops all sitting there in a row. So pretty cool to see. Bullitt's doing really well. I enjoy having this car and having fun with it and stuff. I don't drive it a whole lot, but I alternate it out with the other Mustangs. GT's daily driver, and the zinc yellow has been more of just kind of around the neighborhood and doing things like that, going places with it. Have been daily driving the silver GT, so just taking it different places, watching it as people park next to it and just having fun with it. Now I did start cleaning up some engine parts. This is a crank sprocket, and here's another one I have that I just cleaned up. So I just started going through all the parts and things that I have and cleaning them up. This is a piston out of a GT engine I had that had a blown head gasket, and I wanted to clean up one of these pistons and see what it looked like without all the carbon on it. And this is one of the pistons out of that same lineup, and so you can see how nice it is. Once it's cleaned up, it's in great condition. So I have a whole set of those lying around. Put up the Christmas lights, and that's always a good time to be up on the ladder and look down at the cars. I call it the obligatory pictures and videos you have to take when you put up the Christmas lights and you see all the cars sitting out here. It's always fun. Went up to the other garage, got the 3 Mach 1s in there. One of them is my brother's, the red one. I did have a red 04 that was just like it. So there's a '01 Laser Red Mustang GT here in town, and I've seen it parked here at this apartment complex for student housing. And I've noticed the car before because it lived over by where my garage is, and so sometimes I've seen the car there and then I've seen it down here, so I'm not sure if maybe they live in both places or they're visiting somebody. But as I was driving my Mach 1 through the neighborhood, I saw this car back at the house. It looked like they were doing something, had it up on some ramps here, so I got a quick video of it. Notice there's somebody there watching me take the video, so sorry if you think I'm a creeper. They're looking at me like, what are you doing? But you would think they see me in a bright yellow Mustang. It's got to be because of the Mustang in the driveway. that's nice, enjoying the Mach 1. Took the zinc yellow GT to church, and I had printed these out with my wife for the kids to color on during church. I thought that was pretty fun. If you're going to have a coloring book, you might as well make it cool, right? So thought that was cool. Bullitt looking good, just like all the Mustangs I have. I get out and look at it and say, man, I got to take a little video of it. It looks so good. And of course, it sounds so good. Going down the highway, thought it'd be a good time to test the air-fuel ratio. You want to see it around 11.2 or so with a supercharged car. Make sure the pumps are both working and everything. It has dual pumps in the tank. So you'll see this pole here and I'll record the air-fuel ratio. So that looks good. That's a good way to know that everything's working right and that the pumps are both flowing well and everything. So just out enjoying the car with the family. This parking lot's important to me. You might think it's just a normal parking lot, but when I was detailing and waxing RVs with my friend kind of on a side job years ago, I would always see this restaurant here and smell the food, and it sounded good, and I was always working real hard. And so it's nice to come here now with the car and enjoy just being here. And, you know, seeing there's a little RV resort there, and then the red hills in the background, kind of a historic place in town. And so it's fun to be here and see the car out there. And every time I walk up to the car, I get to enjoy it and get to be on the other side instead of over there working and slaving away. I get to enjoy, you know, sitting here with the car now and enjoying that time. So went out into the garage. Always fun to come out here and see the variety, switch it up a little bit, so there's always something different in here among, you know, different cars and stuff. Took the yellow Mach 1 out some more. You know, enjoyed just driving around town and going places with the family, getting something to eat. It looks so good at night, parked there on the street, still super bright. You know, got together with a friend with the black Mach 1, and he's been road racing this car recently at Willow Springs. And so fun to get together and go to this car meet they were having. I showed up just as they were ending. You can see all these other Mustangs leaving. There's a Roush 429R, that nice guy I've talked to a few times, a couple 3-valve GTs down there. Got the orange Terminator out for a little car meet that my friends and I wanted to have. And I have a local Facebook car club, and we like getting together, and a lot of times it's kind of on me to get it going and determine what time and where and stuff. And so I got the orange Cobra out, made the plan, and everyone started showing up, and I made a whole video about this that shows everybody who came. It was a good turnout, and it was really fun, but nice to get there and just walk around the orange Cobra, have it out of the garage where I could see it a little bit better and just enjoy it. Truly is a beautiful car. It's sitting mostly stock. It has an exhaust system, a Borla exhaust system, and an X-pipe on it, but other than that, basically stock, and 34,000 miles. I had a friend show up with the blue Mach 1 who I don't see very often, and he was like, hey, can I ask you if we could just go for a ride? I've never been in a Terminator before. And I said, oh, absolutely. So we jumped in and took this car down the road and, you know, kicked it around and ran it through the gears, and he was blown away. And I said, that's a stock pulley Cobra with just a cat back on it, basically. And he couldn't believe it. He was like, oh my gosh, that thing is incredible. Now I see what the hype about the Terminator is all about. He wants to eat and swap his car. So I got a new BMX bike just to kind of cruise around on and stuff. And what I like to do is just cruise in front of the house and like look at the cars. And this is just footage of riding the bike and seeing the GT here parked on the street. And it looked so good. I kept riding past it, and I thought, man, that car looks fantastic sitting there on the street. So I just wanted to keep taking pictures of it. And so when you ride around and have it sitting there, it's kind of like having your toy out with you, and it was fun to see. So I just kept riding past it and taking some video and just looking at it and enjoying seeing the car. I mean, if you remember where this car came from, it was a parted out, crushed, smashed up front end car with no seats or drivetrain. So very fun to have it around now. Wanted to take the Terminator out for a ride, took the red one, and went out and just ended up going to get something to eat. I didn't really have a plan, just started driving around, and next thing I knew, I parked over here because I ended up going to a Wendy's to get a hamburger, and this parking lot was nearby, and it was a lot more open. The parking lot over there was kind of rough. But just some easy driving on it, nothing crazy. I mean, I'll do a couple little pulls and hear the supercharger whine a little bit, but went over to my brother's house. I put some air in the tires over there. He's really nice about that. He has a big air compressor right there in the front of the garage, and all my cars come over when it starts to cool down, and I get some air in the tires. There's carbon fiber letters in the back bumper, because the 10th anniversary Cobra has carbon fiber leather on the steering wheel, shifter boot, shift knob, and parking brake handle and parking brake boot. So love the red interior on this car. So that's why I put the carbon fiber letters in the back, just to kind of pay homage to that. And just love this car. Has the 10th anniversary wheels back on it. My brother said, let's go for a ride in my Cobra now, because we were hanging out with the cars and it sounded like fun. So got back to the house, and I was just kind of hanging out and talking, and just had the door open on the car, looking over the interior. It's just kind of fun to look around the car when it's out of the garage, and where you could walk around it, have the hood and the doors open, and look over the car a little bit more. But this car is truly in great shape. There's that carbon fiber leather I was talking about on the shift knob, shift boot, parking brake boot, and parking brake handle. So kind of cool to see. So I just kept taking the red Cobra out. I drove it a lot. I drive it and then want to go somewhere, take it out for a drive. I felt like I wasn't driving it enough, so I wanted to get it out and go have some fun. Got the GT bullet wheels back on the silver GT. Enjoyed driving around places, visiting some family, just running errands and taking it everywhere. So I daily drive this car, and my wife takes it all the time places as well. But I've been driving the yellow Mach 1 a lot more. I've been wanting to get it out and drive it and enjoy it too. So here I am, just going to Walmart and taking on little errands, parking it kind of farther away. But every time you walk up to it, it's like, man, that car looks really good. So I came out from church and there was a silver Celica GT parked here. These were brand new when I was in high school, and so were the New Edge Mustangs. They were very comparable. The Celica GT was more like a V6 as far as the price and performance was concerned, and the GTS was actually almost the same price as a GT. So if you were to choose between these two cars back then, which one would you choose? I know I'd take the Mustang GT, but I did like the Celica. I had a friend who had one. I thought it looked kind of cool. It had a hood scoop on it too, and when you're new to cars, you just kind of consider all the options, and I thought that was a nice little car. I had raced my friends with my V6 Mustang and beat him, and so that was a proud moment because his car was brand new back then. It was like an $20,000 car. The GTS was like 21, almost 22, and that's what a GT would have cost. You can see here on the sale numbers that it's actually not much of a difference between the New Edge Mustangs at the times. I'm actually surprised that for a Toyota, you don't see very many of those on the road anymore. You think they'd last forever. So I was watching some YouTube videos. I love watching other people's content as well. And TJ Sonic Cobra has a YouTube channel. He's got this turbo Cobra, and I was watching him work on it and stuff. And it's a beautiful car. And sometimes I'll be watching a lot of TV, or I'll be making a lot of videos, and I'll think it's a nice day, I want to go out for a drive. But then I'll just kind of relax and watch TV and just be with the family and stuff. But I was watching this YouTube video where he was working on this car, and he had the engine out of it and he was getting it all prepped and ready. And I thought, man, that 4-valve is so cool. And it's such a nice machine. That engine is just so cool. I had to take mine for a drive. That was my friend's black 99 Cobra Mustang convertible that just went by. As you can see, it was just a beautiful night. I really enjoyed taking the Cobra out. The sunset was really nice. The temperature was nice. It was just nice to get off the couch and go for a quick drive, go over here to the spot where I had that car meet earlier, just get the Cobra out and listen to that beautiful Borla exhaust. got the zinc yellow Mach 1 out. Cool to see it by the zinc yellow GT in the driveway. Went to a school event, wore my 1320 sweater with the Terminator on it. Thought that was fun. Back out to get the car. Went for a nice drive. Here's a Corvette coming by. This is that same restaurant where I was earlier with the Bullitt, with the RV resort across the street where I worked so hard with my friends. So nice to eat here and get to see the Mach 1 outside. So I went there, and then I wanted to go to another restaurant and try something else out that they were having down the street. And this is a cool place. This is where I used to go in middle school. And then when I was in high school, we'd drive to this auto zone over here and get car parts during auto shop class. So kind of a fun part of town. I don't come over on this side very much, but it's by the high school I went to. And it's kind of fun to go drive around here and see the Mach 1 out here. And I thought, man, if I had this Mach 1 in high school, I would have been so thrilled. I'm still thrilled today to have this car. Absolutely fantastic. We stopped by where my wife was working that night and saw the GT out there. I parked the Mach 1 next to it, so it was kind of fun to see the two cars out there. GT looks good just sitting there, and fun to walk out to it and park next to it and have both of my cars here. So fun to see the two cars there together at night. And the next day, or the next evening, actually, I took the yellow Mach 1 with my wife, went for a date, went out to dinner, and it was cool to see the Mach 1 parked there across the street. And we were sitting in a parking lot. We saw this Mustang pull up, and without even seeing it, I guessed that it was a laser red with parchment stripe and roof on it when I hadn't been able to see it too closely as it came through. It was at night. So we drove over and shined the lights on it, and sure enough, I was correct. And so my friend came to town with the Redfire 03 GT, so we got the Mustangs out for a meet. And he had taken these really nice pictures for me, so they look really good. Makes the car look fantastic. And there's his GT as well. And we were going to have a car meet, and he said, what car should we take out? What are you going to bring? And I said, I think I'll bring a GT. And he's like, I thought you'd say that. So a couple Mustangs I've looked at to buy that have been on the local listings here, and I've been helping friends out. I have this Mustang at my house right now. It's a 5.0 convertible, 94, 95, and we gave him a tow over to the house because the HOA didn't like him having it in his driveway being worked on. I had the poster of it right here on the wall. I thought that was actually kind of cool, so that's been going on too. And I went over to a friend's shop and I got to see my other friend's silver Trans Am is sitting here. It's a LS3 with a cam and a bunch of stuff, headers, I think ported heads too. And this car was like 526 wheel horsepower, and I haven't seen it for a few years. And my brother had it over at his house for a little bit too, and so went to the shop for a little bit and checked out what he was doing. And he had his Boss's 69 Mustang Fastback in here, and it has like a Boss 429 hood scoop on it, and it looked like a Boss 429. But it has the Mach 1 seats in it, and I think if it was a Mach 1, it would say Mach 1 on the right corner of the dash there, but it said Mustang like the Boss 429 would. But I asked him if I could open the door, and I looked inside. There was no CarCraft number, and he's going to actually coyote swap this car. And so I think it has like a big 500 big block in it right now or something. But here's a coyote. I believe this is going in the car. And we started talking coyotes, and I was kind of talking to him about what I knew about it and the podcasts I listened to about coyotes and stuff. And this is another F-body that my friend owns. It's a Camaro, and it had a turbo on it. So pretty cool car. He's had a lot of these LS cars over the years, and so it was fun to see that in the shop with the Firebird next to it. So fun to go visit him. He was actually getting me this engine. It's a 4.6 out of a Crown Vic non-PI engine, so it would be for a 96 to 98 Mustang. And so I went over and picked up that engine and got the engine hoist out and brought it home and stuff. And so that's something I've been kind of doing, cleaning up this engine, looking it over, making sure everything checks out on it. So I didn't really need the engine, but he was getting rid of it. He just wanted the transmission, so I ended up with the engine. And I had a friend with a blue 96 GT who was interested in doing an engine swap because his is burning a lot of oil. And so I considered putting this in that car, and he talked about selling me the car for a decent price. I'm not sure if I'll end up with it or not, but anyway, this was a non-PI 4.6. Saw this really cool Mustang GT parked in the handicap spot at Walmart. Nice car, looks like very well taken care of, probably owned by an elderly couple. And so just cool to see it. It might have been repainted because it didn't really look like Red Fire. And it wasn't a crimson red 40th anniversary. And I did notice it had the 05 to 09 bullet wheels on it. Only on the back, you can see the center pokes out a little bit more where the running pony is. And so see if you can spot the difference between that and then the fronts that have more of a flat center cap there. So nice parchment interior, convertible. Looks like 01 to 03, judging by the badges and the hood scoops. Anyway, wanted to take the Cobra out for a drive again. I just wanted to look over everything and make sure everything was functioning properly, no noises or problems. Check the bypass valve. You can hear that air intake whistles a little bit. Took the Cobra out to get something to eat. It seems like that's all I do is go drive my cars around and eat, right? But no, it's over a series of time, but love taking the cars places. It is one of the things I enjoy about the cars, just going somewhere nice on a nice day and driving it, enjoying it. And this is a nice new shopping complex near my house, and so I like coming here and hanging out, and it's a place where I like to go. Love this big parking lot at night. The car looks really good in person. The camera doesn't always do justice, but it's nice to see the car parked out here, kind of showcased, get some nice pictures of the car. Took it out with the family, went around town, and just went to this mall. And it was kind of late at night, but it was just fun to go there and walk around and do some shopping and see what's going on. But Mach 1 looks really good here in this big open parking lot under the lights. And there's some lights here on the houses that change colors and stuff. Went to a little church event with the family and stuff. Then we went out for a drive. went out to get some more stuff to eat with the kids. Just took the 3 boys and went out places and went to a couple different places we liked. And I always used to like going here to this Carl's Jr. and seeing the traffic go by. We used to sit out here. There's a 3-valve pulling up there. We'd watch the cars here and see what was driving around town. Went to a couple places, went shopping, and again, found a good open parking spot to park in, and it's always fun to walk to the car and walk away from the car and see it there, and it just looks so bright and fun. I just love that. It's something that makes me happy, just seeing the car, and I always have to pull out the camera and record it. Got a nice cold ice cream with the kids and stuff, and just enjoyed seeing this car in the nice parking lights. I love zinc yellow. I love the bright color of the car. So each of the cars I have offer something different, but it's always fun to take this. Looks really good with the dark windows too. And the AFS deep dish rear wheels, 17 by 10.5 in the back there, 315 wide tires. So just cool to see the car parked out in these different places and enjoy walking up to it at night and stuff. But just can't get over that. So hanging out at the house, enjoying being in the garage, looking over this new engine and kind of cleaning it up a little bit. Got the Texid block down there, just kind of to play around with. Don't really have any plans for those at the moment. And nice evening. Got the 2 GTs out there. My friends parked in front of it. And just hanging out and enjoying time with the garage door open and the music on and just having fun. And then I got together with some more car buddies. We had a car meet. This friend brought his new Mach 1 from California, and that 95 Cobra is his friend. The GT500 convertible, the 99 Rio Red Cobra with the parchment interior, and the friend's 95 Cobra there we were just looking at. And, he's done a lot of work to this car, just got it off the jack stands and stuff. So, and he does great work, too, on his cars, so always cool to see that. And the new Mach 1 looks really nice, beautiful race red. One of my favorite reds ever made. That's cool. And the Mach 1 badge looking really nice. He had a GT350 before that. We got my zinc yellow Mach 1 here. And all the cars looking good and enjoying a nice variety. I noticed the rest of the cars were all red except for mine. I guess I should have brought my red Terminator. But I'll stand out and be the only yellow one, be a little bit different. Mach 1 was just looking so good and sounding so good. Drove out to see my wife's dance rehearsal. may have seen the other videos, I've come out here with the Mach 1, the zinc yellow Mach 1 in the same place and taken some nice videos here in the desert. This is a nice performing arts place where it's a community that has a stage and stuff, so my wife can perform here with her dance company and stuff. And so she comes out here in the GT, and then I'll come out and meet her there. So came out for the performance and hung out in the desert, and there's the GT parked over there looking good. I was like, oh yeah. You know, if you were to just come across that car, you'd say, wow, who owns that GT? It looks good. It looks like a nice car. So fun to walk over and see the car here. I had to record it and show it a little bit and then see the Mach 1 and these beautiful landscapes. So very nice to come out here. And then show's over, I brought the Mach 1 up front and, you know, picked up everyone to go for a drive home in it and stuff. And so out this way, we also had a car meet a little while ago where I had all 3 color '01 bullets. You can see my blue one, the green one in the middle, and the black one. That green one was recently sold. This is my friend's old car, and he just sold it, went back down to Las Vegas, and it got a new paint job. The paint was flaking on it and stuff, and so that car is gone out of our group now. And I almost bought this 95 GT. It had 287,000 miles, but drove fine. This 96 is the one that needs the engine. You might see it on the channel soon. Not sure if I'm going to end up with this car or not, or you know, maybe help my friend replace the engine in it or put that one in there. But there have been a few Mustangs I've looked at recently to buy. One of them was this green Bullitt that was here in town, and it had pretty rough paint on it. So right now it looks pretty good, and a guy just bought it and he's flipping it now, and you would think that looks pretty good, but this is what the car looked like. I had actually saved the pictures of it. And my friend that had the other green Bullitt I showed in this was actually a shop teacher, and he said one of his students brought this car in not too long ago, and the axle or something was bent because it wouldn't track right, and so the kid was trying to sell it. So when you buy a used car, you never know what you're getting or what someone's trying to pull on you. I had seen this car for sale up in northern Utah, and so I knew that it was, you know, up in the elements, and I had seen when it went for sale for a lower price before, and now it's been flipped. The paint was pretty bad, and it was flaking off in a lot of places. It was a northern Utah car, so it had like chunks of paint missing from it, and the top of it was pretty bad. But I noticed that the guy selling it had posted on his Facebook that he actually sanded the car down, and he actually rattle canned the car with a spray paint can. And he, you know, he's proud of his work. I'm not saying that it's an awful thing, but you know, he's flipping the car, and it looks like it's a nice car. He's asking a decent amount of money for it, but you don't know that the car has been rattle can spray painted and stuff. I know because I know. But anyway, so these are just pictures that I found of the car. So obviously for the price, I'm not really interested in this one, and it might have some rust under it from being a northern car. Not sure, but it was interesting to see all these pictures of it like this, and then see that he's selling it and you know, trying to flip it. But it's a cool car, no doubt. But there was another Bullitt for just like $2,000 more I was looking at that only had 50,000 miles on it. And this is the car. And somebody on the channel recently commented and said, hey, did you see that Mustang Bullitt up in northern Utah for sale? It looked really nice. And it did. And originally the guy was asking like 15 or 17,000 for it. So that was just kind of more than I would want to pay for it. And then I saw his ad had changed. He dropped the price down to about 10,000 and said, Kelly's Blue Book buys cars. They offered me 10 for it. And so if anybody wants it, come get it before I sell it to them. And so at that point, I thought that was a really good deal. And I highly considered it, but there was a lot to consider of where would I put it. I need garage space for it because it's so nice. And, you know, I tried to kind of go over the idea with my wife and just kind of talk about it. And by the time I was a little more interested, the car was gone. But you know, just kind of an update of all the cars and the ones I look at for sale and the, you know, stuff going on and enjoying my cars. So that's just kind of an update. Wanted to share with everybody what's going on. That's kind of an all my cars update at once. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more Mustang content.